This is Bruce Bochy, and you're listening to the Ranger Report.
Oh, the Ranger Report. Yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go!
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the World Series champion Texas Rangers, from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast. I am Ben Dieter, he is CJ Berryman. We are on the Fans First Sports Network. We are your source for the Texas Rangers on the Fans First Sports Network, presented by Dallas Sports Nation. And of course, we are on the Comfort Air online studio, and we are joined tonight by Rangers radio man Matt Hicks. Matt, how's it going?
It's going, fellas. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Been a kind of disappointing last 3 days, but other than that, it's been going pretty good. CJ?
Yep, I woke up on the right side of the ground today, so great.
Always good. So let's start with that. Well, first of all, let's start with the Little Rascals. How fun has it been for you guys calling games, watching those guys just go out there and have fun?
Well, first, let's give credit to David Murphy for coining that term. I think that that's something that baseball maybe needs a little bit more of. And it wasn't something that was just sort of dreamed up or something that was forced. You know, these guys came up because of all the injuries, to the mainline players. And then while maybe not putting up just eye-popping numbers, each one of those guys, did something, or maybe two, or maybe all three did something on a nightly basis that helped the team to win. And so for it to be organic like that, and for Murph just to coin the term and for it to catch on, I mean, that's how, good baseball nicknames catch on. And we just don't have enough good baseball nicknames. And for a trio to be coined that, it'll be something. And I thought about this the other day, regardless of how this season ends for us, we're going to have the opportunity to look back in a few years, and everybody's going to remember who the Little Rascals were, and what what they did to help make this team competitive. When in reality, given that Simeon went down, and Seager went down, and Garcia went down, and Carter went down, in reality, we still shouldn't be alive. And mathematically, the team is alive. And they're a big reason why, because they were able to step in and contribute right away, and not necessarily, do something over and above what they can do offensively, but, to just stay within themselves and do what the situation calls for. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. All three of those guys, Alejandro Osuna and Cody Freeman, who, by the way, today was named the Rangers Minor League Player of the Year for his accomplishments at AAA Round Rock. And then Michael Hellman, who really maybe doesn't fit the mold of the term Little Rascals since he's 29 years old, but his dearth of experience at the big league level has him in that group, and they've all been just such a joy to watch and cover.
Talk about Cody Freeman, because it feels to me, the way he comes and plays the game, it feels like Michael Young to me. He comes to the ballpark to kick your ass, for lack of a better term. And that's the way I think Cody Freeman comes to the ballpark. And when he takes an at bat, no matter what he's doing, that's the way I feel. It kind of remembers me a little bit of Michael Young.
Okay. And I didn't have a chance, back in the day to watch Michael, except at the end of his career. And I know how intense he was. And I think that Cody brings that intensity, but he also brings just this level of joy to the ballpark every day. Just not just happy to have a uniform on, but realizing that he can contribute and that there are things that he can do. and he's just a little, he's almost like the Energizer Bunny in that regard. He gets to the park and he flips the switch on, and it stays on, the
He's
entire time he's there. What's that?
He's a lightning rod.
Yes, he is. And and the other thing that, and I've been thinking about this, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess maybe for a short period of time it's a good thing. But he doesn't look anything at all like Vladimir Guerrero, but he is a little bit like Vladdy in that there is not a pitch that he can't get the bat on. Like, he'll make contact with pitches in the zone.
Those pitches way outside. Yeah.
But he had it was a couple of weeks ago, he had a huge hit to right field on a ball that was a foot off the plate and maybe a half a foot to a foot low. Number one, a big leaguer probably has no business swinging at that pitch. But if you're going to swing at it, then, do something good. And he has been able to do something good. And I think it's maybe even been more remarkable that he has swung at pitches that would have hit him, and he's fouled them off. So his ability to get the bat on the ball is remarkable.
On one pitch, but it was a foul ball.
Yeah. So I think that, looking ahead to next year, one big area of growth for him are swing decisions and, being able to lay off those pitches outside the zone and then try to do some damage to pitches that are in the zone. But right now, and I've mentioned this numerous times on the broadcast, he has gotten to 2 strikes in the count about 2/3 of the time, which is a lot. The big league average is just a little over 50% of the time getting to 2 strikes. So he's way above average there, but he's also way above average in 2-strike hitting. His batting average with 2 strikes is a little over 200. The big league average is about 170. So if you're going to get to 2 strikes, you better be a good 2-strike hitter, and so far he has been.
So it feels to me like it seems like he's intentionally getting 2 strikes. That way, I mean, and you see him choke up on the bat, and he gets real serious.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think maybe a part of that is true. And I'm hesitant to ask a guy about stuff like, hey, do you like taking the first pitch of every at-bat? Do you like taking every 1-0 pitch that you see? Because what's happening, and the way I look at it, and I'm sure the hitting coaches are looking at it this way too, is if you consistently take pitches early, then the scouting report on you is, you know what, he's not going to swing at the first pitch. He's not going to swing 1-0. So you can throw him a fastball in the zone for a strike and either get ahead of the count or get back into the count. At some point, those pitches, which are really juicy, and there have been a lot of them that he has taken for strikes, he's going to have to put those in play because because what's happening is the best pitches that he's seeing are the first couple of pitches in an at-bat. Yeah. Once he gets to 0-2 or 1-2, now he's going to see the pitcher's best pitch, and oftentimes that's a strike-to-ball pitch. It's a slider that looks like a strike coming in and then dives off the zone, or it's a changeup that looks like it might be in the zone, but then it dives below the zone. So, I mean, it's kind of remarkable that, in his first year in the big leagues, that he is hitting over 200 with 2 strikes because he's hitting the best pitches and putting those in play. He's not hitting the meatballs early in the count. And if he starts maybe doing something with those early meatballs, then, who knows, he could take off. But again, when you do the math, if 2/3 of your at-bats are with 2 strikes and you're a 200 hitter at 2 strikes, it means your overall batting average isn't going to be much higher than that. So in order for him to make that next leap, his pitch recognition, I think, has to be better.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the whole team, I mean, overall in the season seemed to have a little bit of trouble at times with pitch recognition. But let's look ahead for a second before we talk about the good and the bad. The Rangers have 9 games left against the Marlins, against the Cleveland Guardians, and, oh gosh, I forgot the third team. The Minnesota Twins. Thank you, the Twins, yeah. So obviously, they're still in it mathematically, but they'd have to win 7 of those 9 games, I think. And Houston and Seattle had to really beat each other up for them to have possibility. But I mean, it was exciting. They made it a race. Like you said, they shouldn't even be in this at this point, and they still are. I don't know that they can win 7 of 9, but
Ben and I had them dead for water 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I mean,
but that was being realistic. We got to accept the fact that this might be over.
But no matter what happens over the next 9 games, Matt, to me, and I want your opinion on what you thought. To me, I'm glad that they made this season fun at the end, even if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Ben. And just looking ahead, the next series for Houston is Seattle at home. So obviously somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Now, games have already been played today, and if I'm not mistaken, Seattle has already won. I think Cleveland has already won, and I think Boston lost. So what that means is, and I think of all of those teams, everybody's got 9 games left, except I think for Cleveland, and I think Cleveland has 10 games left. So if my math is correct, that would put the Rangers 5 behind both Houston and Seattle, 4 behind Boston. And so the team to catch, and remember, the Rangers don't have to just catch Boston. They've also got to get past Cleveland. And I want to say the difference now between the Rangers and Cleveland would be 2.5, maybe?
That's correct. I'm looking at it now.
So the Rangers are 2.5 behind Cleveland. So we know we finished with Cleveland, right? So it would seem to me, if we're putting together some sort of number in these last 9 to make it happen, that you're going to have to sweep Cleveland. If you're 2.5 behind them now, you're going to have to win all 3 games in Cleveland. Doable, since the Rangers swept Cleveland earlier this year in Arlington. Okay, so let's put aside those 3 games. Now you got the 6 home games coming up against Miami and Minnesota, 2 teams that don't have anything left to play for. So let's assume that sweep over Cleveland will pass them. Now we got to get to Boston. We're 4 behind Boston, and we don't play them anymore. So if over the last 9, Boston goes 3-6, the Rangers would have to go 7-2, and that would tie Boston, and the Rangers have the tiebreaker with Boston because they beat them in the season series 4-3. So I think that 7-2 is reasonable to be able to get in. You can't do any worse than that because Boston's not going to go 2-7 the rest of the way. It's plausible they could go 3-6, but it's more likely that Boston goes 4-5 at least the rest of the way. So if Boston goes 4-5, that means your margin of error is only 1 game. You've got to go 8-1 over the last 9, and you have to sweep Cleveland. So to me, it's a lot like what Mike Bassick said on our broadcast yesterday, and that is,
I love Mikey B.
I do too. You go to the ballpark, you forget about all of these numbers. You forget about, okay, what do we need to do? Who needs to help us out? Just go to the ballpark tomorrow, play Miami, have fun, and win a baseball game. And just let the chips fall where they may. But for those that want a hard and fast number, I think the minimum is 7-2 with a sweep of Cleveland, and then maybe you're in.
Yeah, and let's talk about the injuries and how much they've impacted it. Because I mean, like I said earlier, that Ben and I had the Rangers left for dead. I mean, because it was every day.
Someone was getting hurt. Yeah.
Somebody's getting hurt, one after another. Of course, I mean, everybody's getting hurt. It's like, oh my God! And then the next 3 nights, holy crap! Here comes these young guys. And then, holy crap, these things are happening. Pitchers are doing. Sean Armstrong, I want to talk about him out of the bullpen. He's not a big name, but he has done his job this season. Talk about Sean Armstrong.
Yeah, if you go back to earlier in the year, forgotten man is not the right word to describe him. But basically, early in the year, he wasn't really in any high leverage situations. He wasn't, pitching in the 8th inning. He wasn't pitching in the 9th inning. And at times he looked like he was serviceable. At times he looked like, if we've got some roster moves to make, he might be right on the edge of getting pushed out. But as the season has worn on, he's gotten better, and I think that and clearly he's moved into a situation where Bruce Bochy and Mike Matt Hicks trust him in the most difficult of spots. Now, he's not always being used in a closing opportunity. We've seen him a few times come on and be used in the 8th inning. But one of the things that he has done really well is to locate. And that doesn't sound like a sexy term when it comes to pitching, but it probably is the most important thing when it comes to pitching. When you have a fastball that is not like a lot of guys coming out of the bullpen, 98, 99, Sean is, more around 94, 95. He's got that cutter, and he locates all of his pitches really well. And so as this second half has progressed, the fact that he has done so well in that regard, you can see his confidence build. And now when he takes the ball, I think I'm going to go in and I'm going to get the job done, and that's it. And there's so many guys that we have on our staff that are like that this year, that have been like that for long, stretches. And, another guy that's in that mode right now is Robert Garcia, who has now gone 13 straight appearances without giving up a run. And, everything kind of plays off his ability to locate his fastball, which he has done really well. So, those two guys are pitching with extreme confidence. Phil Maton right now is pitching with a very high level of confidence. Every time he throws his curveball, it looks like a pitch that's hitting a rock midair and just diving straight down.
It looks nasty.
It is. So, Boch has a lot of options here. But Sean Armstrong has certainly been here in the second half of the season the most improved guy out of the bullpen, and it's kind of funny to say that for a guy that's a veteran. He's been around for a while.
Traveler.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about pitching in general, because I've watched a lot of Rangers baseball. I moved here in 1984, I think, from Pennsylvania.
The year I was born, Ben.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, CJ. I appreciate that. Yeah. I moved here in 1984.
I turned 41 here next week. So
yeah, my dad was a Phillies fan. I couldn't get into it. I wound up being a Rangers fan, which I'm glad. But I don't remember a pitching staff as good as this Rangers pitching staff in all the years I've watched. And there haven't been many in baseball, Matt, that I've seen that has been as good as the overall Rangers. They've been first in ERA for most of the year. So just talk a little bit about starters, no matter who was up, next man up sort of mentality. This pitching staff did a phenomenal job. And Jake Latz has been one of the most amazing guys to watch this year.
Yeah, whenever the Rangers give him the ball, and of course with Eovaldi going on the injured list, Latz is slotted into that spot in the rotation, and he's been fabulous. Now, he's not been the guy that can give you 97 pitches in 7 innings, but he has been the guy that every time out in a starting role has given you at least 5 innings. And he is, on a handful of occasions, hasn't given up a run. On other occasions, he's left without giving up a run, and then maybe 1 inherited runner or 2 inherited runners score. But every time Latz is getting the ball, you feel like you can win. And that's something that you can say pretty much about everybody that has started this year. Eovaldi was otherworldly. That's something that doesn't happen very often in the game at all, and certainly with one particular team. It might happen once every 10, 15, 20 years. That's kind of like what we saw this year from Eovaldi. And then Jacob deGrom has been, I don't want to say average Jacob deGrom, because that doesn't do justice to what he has done this year. He hasn't been Cy Young Jacob deGrom, but average Jacob deGrom is better than 98% of the pitchers that are out there. So you're getting an elite frontline guy who maybe has only had, a couple of duds over the course of the season, and he's already a qualifier, right? He's already over 162 innings pitched. He's the only Ranger, I think, that might end up being a qualifier this year. So you've got that. Remember that Tyler Mahle is likely going to come off the IL and be the starting pitcher tomorrow in the opening game of the series. Well, he pitched through mid-June and had an ERA in the 2s. So when Malley was pitching, he was right up there giving you elite effort. And then the one guy that I think really needs to be talked about that maybe sort of ties all of this together is Patrick Corbin. Because when the Rangers signed him late in spring training, it was like, you know what? We're getting a guy that's going to be a fifth starter, that's going to give us some innings. We know he had a 5.6 or 5.7 ERA last year with Washington, and we're going to put this guy in the rotation. He's going to have a better defense behind him. We didn't know it was going to be this good of a defense, but he's going to have a better defense behind him. And so he'll probably do a little bit better than he did last year with Washington. But I think he's done a whole lot better. And I was talking about this with Eric the other day, and that is the performance that Patrick Corbin has given the team this year. He has shown up every turn of the rotation. He has given you 5 or 6 innings every time out where the team is competing. If you don't have that in that 5th spot in the rotation, now that has a negative impact on the bullpen. So the kind of season Corbin has had has helped the bullpen to have the kind of season that it's had. And it has also taken some of the load off of the other guys in the rotation to where, okay, we know when Patrick Corbin takes the ball, we've got a shot to win, and we're not going to really have to tax the bullpen. And then when you add to all of that, we haven't even talked about Jack Leiter and his growth during the season and how really good he's been. And when you talk about stuff, he might have some of the best stuff of anyone on staff. So, and you know he's only going to get better. So 2025 might just end up going down as the best season the Rangers have ever had or are ever going to have when it comes to pitching.
That was where I was going to go. Let's talk about Jack Leiter. His stuff is electric. And you can't say that. You can be a casual fan and say, yeah, that guy's stuff is electric when you watch a random pitcher. No. Ben and I are better. We know what electric stuff is. Electric stuff is what Jack Leiter brings in his 2-seam fastball, his 4-seam fastball, his curveball, his slide. All of it. When he is on, that guy obviously was almost unhittable earlier in the year. Talk about the growth that Jack Leiter has made coming from last year to this year.
Well, one of the things, obviously, he did experience some adversity early in the year, and a big thing, I don't want to maybe say it was a hurdle, but something that he had to work on was pitch efficiency. Yeah. So a lot of times, he's very good at, and has been all year long, at getting ahead in the count. But then early in the season, he wasn't that good in putting guys away when he had them down 0-2, 1-2. And so he oftentimes would get to a full count. Guys would foul stuff off. And then that pitch count cost him the ability to go 5 innings or to get into the 6th. And so that's one thing that he had to work on. Another thing was dealing with that adversity, and how do you overcome that adversity to where, you get a situation where maybe you should have been out of an inning with leaving a runner at first, but you end up having the bases loaded and you've got a high pitch count in the inning, and then you give up a 2-out, 1-2 base hit and 2 runs score. And, how do you get over that? And so I think that Jack has grown in a number of ways. Number one, you can see his maturity in dealing with those adverse situations. Here in the second half, more often than not, when he gets into trouble, he's able to get himself out of trouble, whereas before he wasn't always able to do that. Then I think maybe the biggest thing for Jack over the course of the season in terms of development and maturity is how well that changeup has come along. Now, we call it a kick change because of the way he grips it, something that he learned last year when Matt Festa was with the ball.
I need you to explain to me what a kick change is, because I used to be a pitcher. And this is a change when you have the
That's
ball
kind of like
here.
a circle. That's kind of like a circle change.
A circle change.
I am not. I'm going to have to.
What's
I do
a
not
kick
know.
change? Like with
I do not know exactly how he grips it. He may do what you show there, where he's got one. It's not a knuckle necessarily, but it's like one finger like that's on the ball as he's releasing it. Whatever it is and how he grips it. Early in the year, he didn't have command of that pitch. So he'd throw it a few times. He wouldn't be able to throw it for a strike. And so batters just crossed that off the list. They didn't have to worry about it. But as the season's gone on, he has gotten much better command of that pitch. Now they have to address that. And when you're spotting your 98, 99 mile an hour fastball on the edges, you're throwing that slider where you want to, where it looks like a strike and then it finishes a ball. Then you're coming back with this changeup that's really nasty. It's a deadly combination.
Yeah.
And when he has got command of all of his pitches, that's where you go, all right, you're looking at a guy who has the potential of being a guy who could throw a no-hitter. I know it's really difficult these days because of the pitch counts, but I think that, Jack Leiter is the kind of guy that next year he might just flirt with a no-no on a couple of occasions because his stuff is so good. And because I think what he has learned this year, I think from a maturity standpoint, he might be a little bit more advanced than pitchers his age. So really can't wait to see what's in store for Jack over the next few years.
Yeah, 100%. So, all right. Well, I think there's a lot of questions going into the offseason. I mean, there's a lot of guys whose contracts are running out and then guys whose contracts aren't running out that maybe the Rangers wish were. But here, this is a question I'm going to ask you, and you may not want to answer it, and that's fine. But your gut feeling, do you think Bruce Bochy's coming back next year?
I get asked that question all the time.
I'm sure you do.
And my honest gut reaction to that is I do not know. There are times when I think that, you can tell he still enjoys managing and he still enjoys being in the clubhouse. So in those moments, I think that, he would want to come back. But then there are also those moments when he talks about family and he talks about his grandkids and he talks about his wife. And I had the opportunity earlier this year when my wife was on a family trip and we were in San Diego to sit down and have breakfast with Bruce and his wife. And you just at those moments, you kind of sense not that she wants him to not come back, but that he really enjoys his time with his family. So, man, if I had to put a number on it, I really would say I think it's 50-50.
Flip a coin.
It's funny. What's that?
Flip a coin.
Yeah, it's kind of a flip a coin kind of thing. He was asked a question in the last homestand because you talk about contracts coming up. Our City Connect uniforms that we wear on Fridays. Apparently, I don't know why, the City Connects have a 3-year lifespan, and this is year 3 of this particular City Connect uniform. And so somebody had the wisdom to ask Bruce Bochy, hey, you're not going to be wearing these City Connects next year. What would you like to see on the City Connects next year? And he's like, I'm not answering that question. So I thought it was a clever way to try to find out. But Bruce is just as clever when he's answering those questions.
Yeah, he is. He's. I've been there. I love covering his post games because he always has a little bit of humor in everything he tells us in those pregame and postgame press conferences. He's great with that stuff. So, and manager show that you guys do, tip of the cap. You and Eric and Jared do a fantastic job with those pregame shows. You ask the right questions, and usually you and Bochy or Eric and Bochy go back and forth a little bit with a little humor. So, I really enjoyed the having you guys on TV and all that you guys do during the pre and post game. Like you said, it's some adjustment, but it's been really nice to, a lot of people probably don't get to see you guys very often before this last season because it's just Dave and Mike and David Murphy. But, I got to say, and I'm sure CJ agrees, it's been really nice the pre and post game shows have been great this year.
Well, thank you. They put all the good-looking people on TV first, and then this year
that's why we're doing this. I've got a radio face. I got a radio voice and a radio face.
We've got to get Eric and Hicksy on somehow. We have a makeup artist now that works with us before we go on TV. But I tell you what, I don't know if they're going to do it here in the final week and a half of the season. I hope they do. I had made a suggestion that we have a segment on the pregame show of Bochy outtakes, because as good as he has been in the pregame show that either I do or Eric does, we usually roll camera beforehand and there's a little bit of an exchange and then we do the show and then they shut the camera off. But before we get started, there have been some really, really funny moments. And I know they've got them on tape, and I'm hoping maybe they put that together where we can have a Bochy outtake segment, because I think fans would really love it. I'll just one little thing. When I, prior to this year, when I just did the pregame show with him on the radio, I do it on my phone, and I do it on this particular app. And to help our engineer in setting it up, I'll give it a countdown before we get started. So I'll give it a 3, 2, 1, and then I'll start the show. Well, at times last year, Boch would imitate me while I was doing that. So I'd be doing the 3, 2, 1, and Boch is sitting next to me, and he's like, 3, 2, 1. So this year, there was one show where I was getting ready to do that, and this is on camera. For the TV, and I said, Boch, why don't you just do the countdown? He goes, okay. And so Boch goes, 3, 2, 1, and then we started. So just, little things like that. There'll be times that I'll make a comment about something that's got nothing to do with the game that day, and then, Bruce could have been a comedian because he has an incredible sense of comic timing, and he'll always pause the right amount of time and then give you an answer that makes you crack up. And then so a lot of times, we've just laughed about something right before starting the show, which is a good thing. Like tomorrow, after 3 straight losses, we got to have this show, and I haven't decided what I'm going to ask him yet because Eric's not going to be there tomorrow. And so I'll figure out something to say to kind of maybe loosen us up a little bit before we get started with the show. Because
just blame me. Just blame me.
Bottom line,
CJ Berryman says this, and then yeah.
Bottom line is, it's a baseball game, and it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And this is serious, and there's a lot of money involved, and you want to win ball games, but people buy a ticket to come out and have fun at a baseball game. So we try to have fun with that pregame show, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it.
Oh, we love it. And Bassick and Jared Sandler and Dave Valley, David Murphy. It's been, I'm glad they have their rotation and of good guys that know baseball and have played baseball, and they know the ins and outs and of what's going on, like from pitch to pitch. It's been amazing what's been happening. And
not to mention, having Elvis Andrews on from time to time, having Nick Hundley on from time to time, and we just had Brad Miller on.
Yeah,
and Brad is just a wealth of knowledge. But all 3 of those guys really know the game really well, and so it's been neat to have that infusion of knowledge from different perspectives, because I think it gives the fan an opportunity to realize what these players are thinking, what they're doing to prepare for a game, how they're thinking when they're in the box. It's nice that we've got position players, but it's also great to have Mike Bassick and have that pitcher's perspective on what he's thinking about a particular pitcher that day or what he should be doing.
So, Matt,
Mike Bassick has to be one of the most quirky people I've ever.
I got a question. We saw Jared and Elvis. So when are we going to see you and Eric in the dot race and the mariachi band?
Oh, that'd be great.
You're never going to see us in the dot race. I'll answer that one straight up. Now, the mariachi thing may be. I can see us putting on the uniforms and doing what Elvis and Jared did, but the dot race, there's absolutely no chance. We wouldn't even make it to center field
you ain't
from
gonna
left
wear
field.
the green dot, Matt? You ain't going to wear the green dot?
Not going to wear any dot. and this is coming from someone who's been in a mascot outfit before. I've done.
You have?
Oh, yes, I have. I have.
To tell us about that.
So back when I was in the Carolina League in Frederick, my first job in baseball, I did on one occasion get into the Frederick mascot outfit, which is a coyote outfit. And I was asked to, I had somebody to fill in for me on the radio, but I was asked if I could entertain for just one inning. Turns out that I'm on the first base dugout when a fight breaks out in the game. And it ended up being like a half an hour delay between the two pitches surrounding the fight. So I had no idea what to do in the mascot outfit while this brawl is going on. So, I mean, what would you guys do? I just started air punching. I'm airboxing, on the dugout. And I'm, one of our guys slings down another guy and I'm throwing it's a family show. And I'm up there encouraging violence. And I'm like, what's going on? Not to mention that it was about 90 degrees. And I lost about 5 or 6 pounds of water weight being in that mascot outfit for one inning. My one inning lasted 45 minutes. Prior to that, this wasn't at a baseball game, but prior to that, I was asked to be Barney the dinosaur in a parade. So you guys remember Barney, right? The purple dinosaur? Yeah, exactly. So and Barney is like one of the big attractions at the parade. So I'm in the Barney outfit and I'm doing the whole Barney thing, and then at the end, I'm supposed to get off this float and meet with the kids. Well, who are Barney's fans? Kids between the ages of like 2 and 5.
Yeah.
And I get off the float and I get down, and all of these kids want to hug Barney, and some of them just want to hug maybe a little too hard. And so I'm just saying that was an experience to endure those punches from those kids and just continue to do the whole Barney thing. So I've done the mascot thing. Yeah. I'm a little too old to get in the outfit. And from what Jared told me about how long they were in them and how hot they got, I think I'm going to pass.
All right. Anything else, CJ? I think we're done.
I got to say one thing. Hey, I've never seen somebody that was dead who was smoking. It's from
Matt.
Come on, it's from Caddyshack.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had gotten into that portion of the program. Yeah.
No, yeah. I've never seen somebody smoking that was dead. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but yeah. So now you have to respond with Caddyshack.
Hold on, just a second.
There it is.
There it is, right there. I don't know what the next line is from that, but I could be Judge Smales for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
It's easy to grin when your ship has come in and you've got the stock market beat, but the man who's worthwhile is the man who can smile when his shorts aren't too tight in the seat. We'll take cookies. Do the honors.
That is fantastic. This is what everybody wants to hear on the radio right here. This is it. Yeah. This is it. Matt, thank you so much.
Get it.
Exactly. Matt, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Always fun talking to you guys.
All right, Matt, good luck on the last 9 games. We'll be watching and listening.
Thanks again.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.